Brady to blame last night?
A lot, 9.5 out of 10. Don't put this in prime time. Tom Brady has played more prime time games. 9 Super Bowls, is that prime time? 13 AFC Championship games, is that prime time? All these playoff games, don't put that in prime time. Tom Brady has played bad. It's as simple as that. Tom Brady has not been good this year. He's played
this
good
year. Wow.
He's played good in spurts.
Oh.
He hasn't put a game together.
Huh.
No,
Did you watch the game at Carolina just a week ago? Is that like a virtuoso masterpiece?
Didn't they come from behind when they 10 down? Okay, finish. Please, just let me have my moment. Just let me have my moment. 22 incompletions. Wow. Skip, is that good? You throw the ball 48 times, you have slightly more than 200 yards. Is that good? Is that good or bad? Now, this is what we know here. Brady was inaccurate all night. Last night on the deep balls, 0 for 6 with 2 interceptions on throws 20 yards downfield. Now, Skip Bayless and Pro Football Focus say Tom Brady is doing great throwing the ball down the field. The last 4 games, he's 1 for 20 on throws 20 yards down the field with 3 interceptions. Is that good? Now, here's the stat that somebody, I don't know who came up with this stat. They call it he leads the league. Skip, did you know this? Tom Brady leads the league in 20-yard throws. 60. He leads the league, but he's 27th in completion percentage. 4 interceptions, which is 3rd most. Huh.
What was the final score?
Whoa. Time out, Skip. Skip, I will let you have your...
It was 65-0?
Whoa. If I'm not mistaken. Jenny. What did I predict the final score was going to be yesterday?
I don't know.
You know, Skip.
I have no idea. I don't listen to the scores.
I remember, Shannon.
27-24.
Right, take your moment.
Did you really?
I really did.
Now,
Skip Bayless tells me.
Finally got one right.
Skip Bayless said Pro Football Focus also came up with a stat. Air distance. It doesn't matter if the ball is complete or incomplete. I thought completion mattered. So now it doesn't matter because Tom Brady...
because you've been telling me all he does is dink and dunk to his backs.
Skip. What good if I throw the ball? Jeff George would be in the Hall of Fame if completions didn't matter.
I was only refuting your point. He's just a dink and dunker now. That's what you said. He's got no arm. He's a noodle arm. He's a spaghetti wing.
How's his completion percentage when he throws it down the field?
Well, who leads the whole NFL in air distance?
Skip.
And I think he pulled away last night.
Skip, that's an inconsequential stat. You saw him throwing the ball down the field and what it looked like.
Did he dink and dunk last night?
When he didn't dink and dunk, how did he look?
When did he dink and dunk? I saw him dink and dunk to Fournette 3 times, and he dropped all 3 of them.
Hold on.
Did you note that over there?
Hold on, time out. He had, Antonio Brown had 13 targets. He had 8 catches for 57 yards. That's 7.1 on the attempt. He had 10 targets to Chris Godwin, 7 catches for 53 yards. That's 7.6. He had 1 receiver that had a double-digit average on completion. And you talk about he not dinking and dunking.
What was the final score?
The final score was Tom Brady lost and the Rams won. That's what. And Jared Goff, first of all, Jared Goff and Sean Payton likely gave this thing away because they got ultra conservative and they got careless with the football. But Sean McVay, excuse me. But Skip, your boy looked awful last night. There's no way around it. I don't want to hear anything about the defense because I told you. Everybody based everything. Because, see, if you watch Tampa Bay, everybody wanted to anoint them after they did with Green Bay. And I said, if you watch that defense, I say on the back end, now who said, I didn't second guess Skip. I told you, I said, Skip, they can be had. I say they're very undisciplined. I say they're out of position a lot more than you think. But because that pass rush covers up, but if they don't get home, they can be had. Whoa, that defense, they're coming. I said they could be had. Skip, Tom Brady, he got happy feet. He doesn't want to get hit. And they got around, Skip, they really didn't do a whole lot, but they got around him a little bit, and he got like he had hot poker, like he was doing the poker. Skip, you guys, you know what? The thing that's going to happen is they're going to be a wild card, and they're going to go.
Wait a second. After all that, you've got him in the playoffs?
No, hold on, Skip.
You're kidding me.
Hold on.
After all that diatribe, you've got Tom Brady in the playoffs? You said he's awful, that he's done, he's washed up. In fact, for 4 straight years, you have said on this show to open the season, he should go home.
Let me ask you a question. One question. I'm going to turn it over to you. Somebody from the NFC East is going to the playoffs. Are they awful? A simple yes or simple no. Don't explain it. A simple yes or
what
a
does that
simple
have
no.
to do with this conversation?
Tom Brady was awful last night. He still might make the playoffs. That's the point.
That's not a point. That's a terrible point because somebody from the NFC least has to go to the playoffs.
Okay, Skip, they added an extra spot.
Nobody from this NFC South has to go because New Orleans is going.
They added an extra spot just so he could get in. They added an extra spot for him.
So you don't have enough guts to predict that Brady and company are out of the playoffs. I'm putting you on the hot seat.
I predicted
Shannon Sharpe's on the hot
he
seat.
would play like trash in 2020. I predicted that.
Somebody has no courage of conviction.
What they got to do with last night?
Somebody's got no guts.
What they got to do with last night?
Put your money where your mouth is.
I predicted he would play like trash in 2020.
Oh, did you?
I'm being prophetic right now.
And yet, through the first 8 games, he led the league in big-time throws. That's trash. Oh, that's trash. Way to go. All right, is it my turn finally? Is the show over yet? I don't know. Are we still on the air?
You got plenty of time. You got plenty of time.
Oh, good.
I don't know what you're going to talk about.
I'm going to need plenty of time. So, as usual, I first guessed everything that was going to happen last night because I told you on the air, you can look it up, you can pull the tape yesterday. This was an awful matchup for Tom Brady because the Rams have one of the most fierce pass rushes in pro football. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes.
Because what do you tell me about Aaron Donald? He's transcendent. He's one of the greatest defensive linemen in the history of football. He's the most valuable player in the entire league, says the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. Am I right about that?
That was years ago. Mahomes, the best player right now.
Oh, years ago on Aaron Donald? I think it might have been 2 years ago. Okay. By the way, just for the record, Aaron Donald, do you have any stats on him from last night? Help me out.
Well,
do you have any?
Did they double and triple it?
I'm sure they did.
Okay.
But if you're Reggie White, if you're Lawrence Taylor, it doesn't matter how many people try to block you. You create stats because you get to the quarterback. And by the way, Aaron Donald last night, here are his stats across the board. He's not on the stat sheet because he didn't register. He had nothing. He had no tackles. He had no tackles for losses, obviously. He had no sacks. He had no quarterback hits. He had no sacks. He had no nothing. Aaron Donald, the man that Shannon Sharpe says he's at least the second best player in pro football. But now we're back to what happened last night.
Yeah, what happened last night?
So I told you the Rams can rush 4 and get home. And they got home, especially in the third quarter, and they knocked the hell out of Tom Brady. He took some serious abuse, especially in the third and early in the fourth quarter. And I will agree with you. He got a little gun shy late in the game, and he got happy-footed just like all humans do when they get the hell kicked out of them.
Goats don't do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, he's a 43-year-old GOAT, and he's still playing at an extremely high level. But he knows how to survive and just sort of stay the course, and that's by not getting hit the way Drew Brees got hit and broke like 17 ribs, right? Okay. So now you've got not only this pass rush coming after you with 4, you might have the best cornerback duo in all of football right now, Jalen Ramsey and Darius Williams, and they were playing at an all-pro level last night because Darius Williams did an extraordinary job on Antonio Brown. He had him the whole night, and obviously it was big time versus big time. It was all night long. It was Jalen Ramsey versus Mike Evans, and he also did an extraordinary job on Mike Evans, especially in the fourth quarter, because he basically took him away from Tom Brady. That's a tough matchup because I told you it's going to have to be a Rojo game. The last thing I said at the end of the show yesterday, it's got to be a Ronald Jones game. Let me see. What did Ronald Jones do here? Oh, he carried it 10 times for 24 yards. So at Carolina, he had a 98-yard run, right, for a touchdown. 10 times for 24 yards, that's 2.4 a try. And for the team, they had 18 rushes for 42 yards. That's 2.3 yards per try. All of which adds up to Tom Brady was in big trouble. Now we get to the defense. We have seen back-to-back primetime games in that stadium. We saw a Sunday night game against Drew Brees and now a Monday night game against Jared Goff.
Got another one coming, too.
I'm not – that's exactly right. And they are going to get run off the field by Patrick Mahomes and company. This defense is terrible. I am here to tell you this defense will take this team nowhere in the playoffs. Brady or no Brady, it just doesn't matter if you cannot defend the pass, and they cannot defend the pass. So guess what we've seen? We saw Drew Brees come in and light them up. And if we just take the combined passes, Taysom Hill threw some passes also in that game. But if we take Drew Brees, Taysom Hill, and then what happened with Jared Goff last night, those 3 passers in these last 2 primetime home games at Tampa completed nearly 80% of their passes. Okay, what's going to happen? You're going to lose because you can't stop anybody. And I know the theme of the night was, well, Tampa can really stop the run. Nobody can run on Tampa. Nobody wants to run on Tampa because it's ridiculous. It's too easy to throw on Tampa because they are sitting ducks.
Right.
They got 2 young corners, as you point out. They got a rookie safety. And I don't know what's happened to the pass rush. They did not touch Jared Goff last night. His jersey was as clean as a whistle, and we're going to get to this later. It stayed clean after the game because Tom Brady wasn't there to shake his hand, right? We're going to get to that, but that's vintage Tom Brady. But the point was, Jared Goff, he unravels as quickly as any quarterback in the league. He had 4 turnovers in the first half at Miami just about a month ago, right?
Right.
You have to get him early, and Todd Bowles, I'm so disappointed in because he's such a creative blitzer. They come from everywhere in any way, shape, and form. And you got the athletes to blitz because you got 2 inside linebackers who can come after you from everywhere.
Well, Skip, did you see what they were doing? They took the clock down. They were under 5 seconds because they wanted him to show where he was coming from.
And McVay was really good at it. And they had a great plan with a lot of quick screens and a lot of hot routes. It was just it was all dinking and dunking. And when they did blitz, which was not often enough, they blitzed on the very first play of the game, and then the whole rest of the first half, they didn't blitz one time. I was out of my mind because you have to light him up. If you can knock him down a couple of times, you can get to him psychologically.
Well, they tried to, Skip, right before the end of the half, and they caught him with the jailbreak screen, and Robert Woods almost got out the house on it. So because, as you mentioned, because they run so many bubble screens, you got to be careful blitzing because they let you through. They got 2 tackles. They got 2 linemen pulling, and they got wide receivers blocking. The guy going to hit his head on the goalpost. So that scared Todd Bowles out of blitzing.
All right. So meanwhile, in the first half, Tom Brady is playing one of his better halves of the whole year. So he came out in prime time after stinking it up before at Chicago and versus New Orleans at home on Sunday night. He came out and threw the heck out of the football in the first half. And that drive that put them ahead 14-7, it came mid-second quarter. If we could see the completions in this drive, these are 3rd down completions. It starts with a 3rd and 6. And that goes to Cameron Brate, who is becoming one of his most trusted receivers. And here's a 3rd and 9. That's 3rd and 9. That's a rocket shot on the button. And here we go with a 3rd and 8. And this is a little Scotty Miller, and that was his best throw of the night, and that was pass interference because the safety who picked him off twice, Jordan Fuller from Ohio State, the rookie, got there early, and then he threw an 18-yarder to Mike Evans that got them down to the 2. He was on fire in this drive, and this team should have been, again, Jared Goff went down and tied it 14-14, but the play of the night for me, as far as me rooting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, came late in the first half. It's 19 seconds left, and they've got the Rams backed up. They've got them where they want them, and all of a sudden, they run a little wide receiver screen to Robert Woods. This is horrible. And he gets loose, and they don't have time. The clock is ticking, and he just says, no, I'm going to go as far as I can and hope we can spike it, and they got it done. That is a 40-yard gain? It was just terrible. 35 yards. 35-yard gain down to the 20-yard line and gave them the field goal that I think was the difference in the football game. And by the way, in the McVay regime, they are now 32-0 when leading at halftime. Well, that put them into 32 range, right?
That's pretty good.
So there you go. In the second half, all of a sudden, that pass rush started getting to Brady, and he started getting hit. And to your point, he was horrible in the 3rd quarter, but he came back to life and had a nice drive in the 4th quarter to tie the game at 24. But here's the play of the night for Tom Brady. He is in a slump, as you correctly point out, throwing the deep ball. But with 7:17 left in the game, he goes deep to Antonio Brown. This is the play of the night that did not work for the Bucs. It's a very near miss if we could see it. This changes the game. He throws it deep to Antonio, and it's just off his fingertips. If they connect on that, and Antonio scores, or at least has it all the way down to the 20, this is the play of the night, and they are inches off. It was a good throw. Antonio's a small man, and he couldn't quite get there. If that connects, I think all hell breaks loose for the Rams because that would have been the play that opened Pandora's box.
Skip, what's happening is, if you watch the Bucs, last night they ran basically two things. It was hard play action and the quick game. And I tweeted, if a team is running the quick game, you got to press somewhere. Skip, you can't allow receivers just to go down and set up. And you notice Williams started pressing Antonio Brown.
Yep.
You saw Jalen Ramsey, eventually he started pressing Mike Evans, because those are the two guys. I don't believe Chris Godwin can consistently beat me. I know those other two guys can consistently beat me.
That's what they said last night.
So that's that was the way I would I would have approached it.
Yep.
And so now all of a sudden, all I need Brady to do is I gotta make him take his first read away. So whomever that is, if that's Antonio Brown, I need to take him away because I need him to bring the ball down a little bit. If that's Mike Evans, I need him to bring the ball down a little bit. And they did that, Skip. And because they couldn't run the football, Brady needs the run, Skip. He needs that.
But most of them do. Most humans.
My
need
homeboy
someone
don't. My homeboy. So can we put the rest now, Skip? Can we put this to bed now? That Tom Brady has had his good Pro Football Focus. Everybody should just throw this in the trash because they said Tom Brady was playing better than Patrick Mahomes.
Just a week ago, they said that.
I needed them to grade my papers in high school. I'd have been valedictorian like you. Yep. But unfortunately, they were not grading my paper. But it's Skip, look, I want to show you something because I don't like to do this. But I want to show you some of Tom Brady throws that he had that you said was so good because that one that was really, really close, he had some that was really, really far away. Hey, Jim, drop that track for me right quick. Now, I want to know who do you think this is going to be complete to? Out of bounds.
Well, you know what? I think he threw it over the left shoulder.
Out of bounds, though. What about this one, Skip?
No, he could have caught that over the left shoulder.
That should have been intercepted, right?
Which I'm
Off the
sorry,
right
I'm
rail.
still on the
What is this, Skip? Who was that one to?
Okay, timeout. Can we go over that play, or are you going to show another one?
I'm going to show another one. Because I got plenty of them. Who was this one to, Skip?
Well, obviously, that's the last play of the game. We're about to get to that. I'm about to get all over that game.
Skip. I mean, look at this one, Skip. That's out of bounds.
Okay, that's not out of bounds. Mike Evans turns and looks over his right shoulder instead of his left shoulder.
Okay, where did you look up at this one?
Which one was it?
That was up the right rail when 43 should have had 3 interceptions.
Okay, he did. It was an overthrow.
And I want you to know.
You know what? And you keep saying he's a noodle arm, and all these throws are missing long. They're not missing short. They're long, all of them.
And they let him off the hook. You know, and I know that was a fumble in the end zone. When Tom Brady's arm came, the ball was empty.
Ball's coming forward.
No, Skip, the ball is
the ball.
Skip, the ball is out of his hand. Look at this. Skip, the ball is out. Look at that. The ball's out.
Boy, I thought it was a forward pass.
No. Look at Skip. How's that a fumble back?
He's throwing it. It's coming out of the palm of his hand. It's coming forward.
Skip, that ball.
Well, he couldn't finish the throw because his arm's being held.
Exactly, and the ball
but
slips
it starts forward in his arm, and it's a forward pass.
Skip, if the ball slips out, but never, you know what? The guy said, you know what? We're not going to let you off the hook like the tuck rule bail job. We're not going to bail job.
Let's go back to the first interception.
Let's go back to it.
Because it's a rare Ram blitz by Justin Hollins, the outside linebacker, who's 6 feet 5 inches tall. And Justin Hollins is in Brady's face, and I think rakes across the front of him. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, he's all over him and hits his arm and body, and the ball just goes sideways.
But Skip, even if it doesn't
go
hit it
sideways, he's trying to step into it, and it just goes sideways.
But if he steps into it, the guy's still going to pick it. The guy's in the hole.
No, the ball just wobbles left.
So
it just goes sideways out of his hand.
But let me ask you.
There's no direction to it at all.
So let me ask you a question. Was he throwing that ball to Chris Godwin?
He's throwing it to the right side. I don't know who was running up the right rail, but
Skip.
Okay,
that's Godwin.
His arm gets hit.
But Skip, if he's throwing it to Godwin, he's doubled.
Okay, but the point is, I'd like to see the throw without the arm and the face getting hit.
But why would he even throw it that direction if the guy's doubled?
Okay, he's trying to throw it, and look, I can't see the completion of the pass. I don't know where it was headed.
Skip.
It gets knocked sideways.
Skip, there's no one down there but Chris Godwin.
Well,
there's him, and there's a guy on his upfield shoulder.
I can't speak to that.
Okay, right here. Where is he throwing it to?
I don't know. It goes sideways. I'm not sure. It came sideways out of his hand. He gets hit. It's a blitzer right in his face who just rakes him as he's trying to step into it.
I get that. But why is he throwing it to a guy that's double?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
And it's for you criticizing the guy who has 6 game-winning drives to win 6
That wasn't the Super Bowl. That got nothing to do. He did that. I'm talking about last night.
He has the all-time most game-winning drives in the fourth quarter in the history of this league.
What about last night?
Okay, so last night, that last drive starts off with he hits Cameron Brate for 7 yards and he hits Chris Godwin for 12 yards, and I'm thinking, okay, here we go. And then his favorite clutch receiver has become the backup tight end, Cameron Brate.
Yeah.
So he sees him up the seam with the step. And he said after the game, it was a bad read and a bad throw. Well, it's not even a bad read. It's just a bad throw because he thought he could force it in to Cameron Brate, who has a step on, I don't know who 40, is it Johnson? I think he's a step on the safety, 43. But the other safety just sitting back there.
Yeah,
I think it's single high
safety.
Yeah. And it's the rookie Fuller.
Yes.
And he's just sitting back there. But Brady's going to have to force it into Cameron Brate. And if he hits him, we got a field goal set up already. Not to mention, it's 1:56 left. Yeah. But he just airmails him. It's just a bad throw. A bad throw.
That ain't ever. Mahomes not even fitting that one in.
Well, he tried.
Yeah, but Skip. First of all, he got the guy in the trail technique, and the guy's in the hole. You can't fit that in.
No, he can't. And so he tried it, and I think at the last second, he's like, I don't know, and he tries to throw it high and hard, and he just airmailed him.
He ain't got no high and hard.
It's a bad idea.
He ain't got no high and hard.
Well, you saw that throw to Scotty Miller. That was high and hard.
Well, he should have saved that one for that throw right there, and that would have got picked.
Okay, but he knew as soon as it left his hand, it's just a bad idea because it looked like Fuller was the primary receiver on the play, right?
So can we, Skip? All that's fine.
Okay,
Can we just say he played bad last night?
No, I don't think he played bad overall.
Skip,
Skip. I just showed you what he did in the first half. He was outstanding in the first half. He was dealing in the first half.
But Skip, no, he was not.
And in fact, they won the fourth quarter 7-3, and he did have a game-tying drive in the middle of the fourth quarter. Does that count?
Skip.
Does it count?
Skip. I didn't even.
Did he do that?
First of all, Skip, I didn't want to bore the people at home with all the incompletions that he had to AB in the first half and all the overthrows to Mike Evans. Come on, Skip.
The Rams are #1 in the National Football League in yards allowed. You give him any credit? Is there any degree of difficulty?
But you say he the GOAT.
Okay. We saw Patrick Mahomes have a hard time beating the Raiders at the Raiders the other night. Did you see what Brady did to the Raiders at the Raiders?
Hold on.
He threw a party on them, a Las Vegas party.
But guess who's number 2 in defense? The Indianapolis Colts. But they beat Aaron Rodgers. You didn't give Rodgers no break. Okay, Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the GOAT. Some GOAT.
But Aaron Rodgers had a 28-14 lead at halftime, and just he unravels. What I tell you, it's like he folds like a Tampa lawn chair at a retirement community.
This is what we know. This is what we know about your guy. When it goes bad, when it goes to hell, it goes to hell in a handbasket. We saw him against New Orleans twice. We saw him against Chicago, and we saw him last night.
Yep.
Now, can we put this to bed that he's in the MVP discussion and he's playing better than Mahomes? He's playing better than Russ.
I didn't say that. Pro Football Focus said that.
But you follow it up. You've been following. Oh, he graded higher than Nobody thinks that.
Prisoner of moment. He had a bad game by his standards last night. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Tell me the game in which Mahomes has had that's worse than any of the 4 losses for Tom Brady. Tell the game. Even though he lost to the Raiders, he threw for 340 and 2 touchdowns. Yep. Tom Brady stunk it up 4 times.
Tom Brady doesn't have Travis Kelce and the fastest receiver in pro football.
Whoa.
Tyreek.
Hold on. You told me he got the GOAT tight end. He got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, two Pro Bowl players. He got AB, who was on the Hall of Fame arc. He got all that.
How many years has Mahomes been playing with those 2 receivers?
Whoa. Mahomes, this is only his 3rd year starting. Brady the GOAT.
4 years he's been playing.
What about all those
2?
game-winning drives in the Super League? You don't want to mention that now. Now, all of a sudden, how long you been playing with those guys? No, Skip.
We're in the middle of a pandemic. There were no preseason games. There were no OTAs.
There was no preseason for anybody.
Brady on the fly. Well, he's the one guy who didn't. He's got a brand new team. He's had no experience with any of these people.
Guys, don't worry. We have
48 attempts for 216
to get to Tom Brady later on in the show. That was heated, but we got to move on.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.